On the sacred land of Jammu and Kashmir, a great Kuldevta family deity is worshipped, Baba Jitto Bua Kaudi. Their temple is located in Jiri village, Jammu, where thousands of devotees gather each year to pay homage to their eternal legend of devotion, sacrifice, and justice. I, Narinder Singh, through the EpicVeda channel, will narrate their divine tale, a story that will remain alive in the hearts of people for generations to come. The story begins in Agar village, near Katra, Jammu and Kashmir, where a farming couple, Rupchand and Janja, lived. They were ardent devotees of Mata Vaishno Devi. After years of devotion and penance, they were blessed by the goddess with a son. Astrologers prophesied, "This child will be extraordinary and will one day be revered by people." They named him Jitmal, but he was lovingly called Jitto. From an early age, Jitmal was humble and hardworking. He worked alongside his father in the fields and bathed daily in the sacred Ganga that flowed from the feet of Mata Vaishno Devi. His devotion to the goddess defined his life. However, his aunt Joja, skilled in occult practices and driven by greed, had her eyes set on his land. In due time, Baba Jitto married a virtuous young woman named Mayavati. Their life was blissful, but Joja cast a dark spell on Mayavati, depriving her of motherhood. As time passed, Baba Jitto lost both his parents. He immersed himself completely in the worship of Mata Vaishno Devi. Pleased with his devotion, the goddess appeared before him and blessed him, saying, "My child, a divine daughter will be born in your home, an incarnation of my own essence. She will be revered by the world." The goddess then manifested a sacred stream in Agar village so that her devotee would no longer have to climb the hills for a holy bath. This divine water body became known as Charan Ganga. Sometime later, Baba Jitto was blessed with a daughter, whom he named Gauri. She later came to be worshipped as Bua Kaudi. However, with Gauri's birth, Mayavati passed away. Heartbroken yet determined, Baba Jitto devoted himself entirely to raising his daughter. His aunt's envy intensified. She bribed a group of men to attack Baba Jitto. They pushed him off a cliff, but by Mata Vaishno Devi's grace, he miraculously survived the fall. Seeing her plots fail, Joja resorted to dark magic to make Gauri sick. Baba Jitto realized that this was his wicked aunt's doing. He made a firm decision. "My daughter is my world. I must save her. Land and wealth mean nothing to me." Carrying his daughter in his arms, he left the village behind. Their journey led them to Pinjore village in the Kanachak region of Jammu, where his friend Rolu Lohar lived. It was here that Baba Jitto and Bua Kaudi's new chapter began. Baba Jitto's friends, Rolu and Gagi, helped him settle in the new village. Gagi, who worked for Veer Singh, the king's royal administrator, introduced Baba Jitto to the king. Impressed by his devotion and simplicity, the king granted him barren land near the village of Guda, close to Jiri, under the condition that 1/4 of the harvest would go to the royal family. Baba Jitto made a firm resolve to turn the barren land fertile through hard work. A blind moneylender from Pinjore village, Gosai Nathuram Mehta, supported him by providing laborers, money, and wheat seeds. Baba Jitto toiled day and night, transforming the land into a thriving field. He even constructed a pond to irrigate the crops. When the harvest was ready, greed overtook the king. He claimed ownership of the entire crop. Baba Jitto reminded him, "Your Majesty, the agreement was for 1/4 of the harvest." However, the king refused to honor his words and ordered his soldiers to seize all the grain. Heartbroken by this injustice, Baba Jitto prayed to Mata Vaishno Devi. The goddess appeared before him and commanded, "Punish these sinners." In a fit of rage, Baba Jitto tore open the sacks of grain and, in defiance, stabbed himself in the chest with his dagger. Bleeding profusely, he declared, "Take it all now. My blood will only make the grain taste richer." As soon as he made his sacrifice, a devastating storm and torrential rain swept away the entire harvest. The terrified king, realizing his mistake, ordered his soldiers to hide Baba Jitto's body. One of the soldiers, a gardener from the Sapolia caste, suggested, "Your Majesty, let's wrap Baba Jitto's body in leather and hide it inside a symbol, silk cotton tree in Jiri. Perhaps this will calm the wrath of Brahma's curse." The soldiers followed his advice and concealed Baba Jitto's body inside a symbol tree in Jiri. However, divine justice prevailed. Lightning struck the king's palace, reducing it to ashes, and his entire lineage was wiped out. Overcome with madness and guilt, the king ultimately took his own life. After the sacrifice of Baba Jitto, his daughter Gauri, known as Bua Kaudi, continued to live in the village. She was believed to be an incarnation of goddess Vaishno Devi. One night she had a terrifying dream and woke up crying. Just then, Baba Jitto's pet dog came to her, tugging at her chuni, urging her toward the fields. When Bua Kaudi reached the fields, she saw water spread all around, yet a few grains of wheat still lay scattered on the ground. She picked them up and, while walking back to the village, tossed them into the air. As soon as the grains hit a massive symbol, silk cotton tree standing in the path, they turned black instantly. Sensing that there was something mysterious about the tree, Bua Kaudi tried to shake it, but it wouldn't budge. At that moment, she felt her father's presence. Overcome with rage, she struck the tree with her divine strength. With a thunderous roar, the symbol tree collapsed, revealing Baba Jitto's body hidden within its trunk. Seeing her father in this condition, Bua Kaudi broke down in tears. To perform her father's last rites, Bua Kaudi sought help from Gosai Natharam Mehta. He agreed but said, "Child, before the cremation, I wish to take a ritual bath, but there is no water here." Hearing this, Bua Kaudi struck her heel forcefully on the ground. Miraculously, a stream of water gushed forth. This sacred water is now known as Ban Ganga and Bari River. Bua Kaudi helped Natharam bathe in the holy water and then sprinkled a few drops into his eyes. A miracle occurred. Natharam, who was blind since birth, regained his sight. At that moment, Bua Kaudi revealed her true divine form as an incarnation of goddess Vaishno Devi. Overwhelmed, Nathuram folded his hands in reverence and bowed before her. After Baba Jitto's final rites were completed, Bua Kaudi turned to Nathuram and said, "Now you must leave." Then she climbed onto the same funeral pyre as her father and sacrificed herself in the flames. It is said that Baba Jitto's loyal dog also leaped into the fire alongside her. Even after leaving their mortal bodies, Baba Jitto and Bua Kaudi wandered across India's sacred pilgrimage sites in spirit form for 28 years. As time passed, the divine legends of Baba Jitto and Bua Kaudi remained immortal, echoing through generations. One day, two merchants named Shud and Bud, traveling from Sialkot, now in Pakistan, arrived at a place called Jiri. Night had fallen, so they decided to rest there. That night, Baba Jitto and Bua Kaudi appeared to them in a dream and said, "O Shud and Bud, build our temple here and construct a stepwell alongside it. You will find wealth at this very place to fund the temple's construction. You may keep whatever remains. Once the temple is built, Gosai Natharam will worship here and relieve devotees of their sufferings." At dawn, the merchants followed Baba Jitto's divine instructions. They dug at the designated spot and, as foretold, discovered immense treasure. With this wealth, they built a grand temple dedicated to Baba Jitto and Bua Kaudi, and also established a sacred stepwell. This temple is now known as Jiri Temple. After the temple was completed, Baba Jitto appeared in Gosai Natharam's dream and said, "Nathu, a son will be born in your family. Name him Gorak. Whoever he touches will be freed from suffering. Every word he speaks will be the truth. I will reside within him, and through your descendants I will continue to relieve people's pain." Baba Jitto's prophecy came true. Sometime later, a son was born in Natharam's family, and he was named Gorak. From childhood, Gorak possessed miraculous powers. His words never failed, and his mere touch healed the sick. Following Baba Jitto's command, Gosai Natharam began worshipping at Jiri Temple. It is believed that since that day, Natharam Meda's descendants have continued to serve as the temple's priests. Devotees believe that Baba Jitto and Bua Kaudi still relieve people's suffering through them. Even those who had once deceived and wronged Baba Jitto came to seek forgiveness at his feet and accepted him as their Kuldevta, family deity. Since then, the worship of Baba Jitto and Bua Kaudi has remained unbroken at this sacred temple. Today, this temple stands as a revered center of faith for millions of devotees. Pilgrims from far and wide come here, placing their troubles at Baba Jitto and Bua Kaudi's feet, finding relief in their divine grace. Even now, Baba Jitto hears every plea and alleviates the sufferings of his followers. There may be errors in narrating this sacred tale, as different sources have slight variations in their accounts. However, I have presented this divine story with utmost devotion and sincerity. If any mistakes have been made, O Baba Jitto and Bua Kaudi, please forgive your humble child, Narinder Singh. For more such sacred stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, EpicVeda. Jai Baba Jitto Ji, Jai Bua Kaudi Ji, Jai Ma Vaishno Devi.